resonated by the way different people think, and I feel like I'm pretty good at holding a conversation. So I thought it would be a fun idea to just write down a few questions as a conversation starters while dating. I wrote down two different lists. Conversation starters for like dating someone, so like you guys are not official, you're getting to know each other, you're going on dates, you know. And then I did a list for already in a relationship. So I thought it would be fun to throw some questions in there for like a date night. And I also put the list together of like dating or beginning of relationship because I feel like I have a lot more questions for that list. I think I'm only gonna list probably maybe like 10 or 11 because I have a ton. And if you guys want a part 2, I'll make a part 2 about good conversation starters. Again, I'm a nosy person. I'm not afraid to ask these questions, but there might be some questions that I understand. Well, you know, if it's date number 1, maybe no, right? But like, if it's date 3, 4, and you're like, I kind of like this person, I think these are some good questions to ask to really get to know that person, really get to figure out like, do I really like this person? Do I see a future with them? Etc., etc. Alright, we're starting hot and heavy with number 1. What? I'm looking down because I have my notebook because I wrote them down. What counts as cheating? This, you may think like it's an obvious answer, but baby, it is not. You will be very surprised at what certain people consider cheating and what other people don't consider cheating. For example, certain people will say that cheating is only when you hook up with someone else. A lot of people don't believe in emotional cheating. A lot of people don't think flirting is cheating. A lot of people don't think like giving their number out to other people while in a relationship is cheating. Some people think hugging someone else is cheating. Some people think kissing someone else is cheating. Some people believe that, you know what I mean, like there's just levels to it. Also, I think I should have started this video by saying, before you ask any of these questions, I need you to sit down with yourself and be real and answer these questions for yourself, okay? Before you ask someone, what do you consider cheating? Make sure that you yourself, you're certain on what you consider cheating. And have those boundaries very clear for yourself. Something I have learned is that if you're not clear and set on your own boundaries, it's going to be really easy for someone else to cross the line, and you know, things can get really messy when you're not clear on your own boundaries and what you're willing to accept versus what you're not willing to accept in a relationship. So let's just start there. So yeah, question 1, what do you consider cheating? Alright, moving on to question number 2. How do you feel about staying in touch with ex-partners? What's tea? Are you guys still friends? Do you guys talk? Did you end on bad terms? Like, what is your status? You know, because some people may feel comfortable with that their partners are friends with their ex. Others are not. So make sure that you figure that out before you guys, you know, become one in a relationship, and then a few months down the line you're like, oh, you're besties with your ex too. You know, and obviously that can go a little bit deeper if kids are involved. I feel like that's a whole in your dating journey right now. Okay, number 4. What's one of the top qualities you're attracted to in a person? And I feel like it can tell you a lot about the person and like maybe like what their values are, what type of person they are, what they're looking for, you know. Because top qualities, it doesn't just have to be physical. So yeah, that's a good one. Question number 5. What's your favorite quality about yourself? I love this question. Maybe because I have main character syndrome and I love talking about myself. I love when people ask me about me and my life and what I have going on. But all jokes aside, I really do love that question because I feel like it definitely gives you more insight on like how they view themselves. And I always love hearing people's answers, even my friends or, you know, just random people, like, you know, what's your favorite quality about yourself? It's so like insightful. Question number 6. What's your idea of the perfect life if money wasn't an issue? So that's a little deeper, and I think it's also a fun one because a lot of people get stuck in this idea of what their life will look like based on their current circumstances. So I feel like this question pushes people to think outside of their current financial situation. So that aside, what's your idea of the perfect life? Question number 7. What's one of your deal breakers? What's a deal breaker in a relationship? I love this one. A lot of people will say cheating, right? But it's like, I feel like you can get a lot deeper with this. Like, what is a deal breaker? Someone who is not career driven, someone who is not financially stable, someone who's not a provider, someone who is not emotionally intelligent. I feel like you need to dig a little deeper because of course anyone can be like, well, I want someone who's not going to cheat on me. That's basic. Think deeper. What is something that's like you're like, I can't do? For some people that's like, I will not date someone who has kids, and like that's fair, but be clear from the beginning. What is something that's like an immediate no? No matter how good looking, how nice, how amazing you may seem, this one thing is like immediately no. Question number 8. What is your love language? I feel like this is super important to know when dating someone, or you like someone or interested in someone. And I've learned this because the way people receive love versus show love can be different, right? The way I want to be shown love can be different than how you give love. You know what I mean? So that is something very important to communicate, right? For example, if you're dating someone whose love language is gift giving, but your love language is like words of affirmation, and this person is like giving you gifts or, you know, showing up with this or that for you, but is not good at validating you or expressing their love for you, no matter how much that person tries with the way they show love, you're not going to receive that love because you're not being met where you need to be met. And again, figure this out for yourself first. Okay, how do I want to receive love? versus how do I show my love, you know? That's super, 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 super important, because no matter how good your intentions are, no matter how good that person's intentions are, if you guys have different love languages, which is okay, but you don't communicate that, there's always going to be a disconnect. So if you guys have different love languages, of course it can work as long as you guys communicate that and meet each other in the middle. I feel like it can work. Question number 9. Do you recharge by being around other people, or by spending time alone? I feel like that is a really good question to ask, because I personally was in a relationship with someone who loved being around other people, who, like, that's how their cup was filled, being with friends all the time and hanging out. And in order for me to fill my cup, I always wanted to be alone. Not always. I needed some alone time to just, like, you know, get me together. And I feel like I didn't communicate that well, and we always bumped heads, because he kind of thought that I just never wanted to hang out or do stuff, but it wasn't that. It's just like we recharged differently, and you know, my social battery wasn't as big as his, you know. So I think that's definitely important, getting to know that person on a deeper level. Like, okay, if you're struggling, like, what do you need? Do you need more time with friends or with me, or do you need some alone time? You know, I think that's super important to know. Question number 10. What is the compliment you receive most often? So I think that's a fun question, because it kind of lets you know, like, you know, what people see in this person that you might not see just yet, right? Question number 11. I think I'm gonna wrap it up at 11, because if not, I'm gonna be here all night. Again, if you guys like this, I will make a part 2, because I have a ton of other, like, good conversation starters / questions. I mean, they're all questions because they're conversation starters, to continue in, like, the dating / already in a relationship, marriage. Anyways, so question number 11 is, what would you do if you knew that nobody would judge you for it? I feel like this is such an amazing question, because it is so real, okay? Nobody's gonna sit here and tell me, like, they you know, don't care about what anybody says. Like, we all care to some degree, some more than others, right? But it's so interesting to me how there's people really holding back from, like, a really cool new adventure or hobby or whatever it may be, because they're scared of what people or their friends or family would say, you know. What made me specifically think about this question is me starting my ASMR channel. That is something that I wanted to do for, like, the longest time, but out of fear of what, like, people would say, or my friends or family, like, oh, that's weird, what the heck is that, you know, because not a lot of people, I feel like now ASMR is a lot more popular. Back then, it wasn't like this big known thing, and people were like, what the hell are you talking about ASMR? Like, why are you whispering? And I feel like once I started to do it and put myself out there, I was doing it literally so scared and embarrassed, or even, like, posting parts comments of my YouTube video on TikTok. It was something that I really struggled with, not because I was like ashamed or I'm doing something bad, but just all because of what are people gonna say or think. But then I realized I'm literally stopping myself from doing something that I enjoy, that it's a hobby that I do for fun, because of what someone else possibly may think. Like when you say that out loud, it sounds insane, it sounds crazy, and you would be surprised with how many things people are holding back from doing just because of the fear of what other people might say or, think about that new thing they want to try. So I feel like that's a really good question to get to know that person. But yeah, guys, I think I'm gonna leave it there at 11 questions. Let me know what you think. I will do a part 2 if you guys are interested in more conversation starters or good questions